as conservatives so they can control the true constitutionalist movement that's the real threat to the global takeover. And so that's how I knew back in 2006, 2007, Beck was bad, because he's always been the worst. Sean Hannity, a close second, saying arrest all militias, make them illegal, every child needs a microchip, stuff like that. And I'm not even paying much attention to these guys. I'm too busy. And it just gets worse and worse and worse by the minute. And so you look at all the countless examples of sabotage against real patriots, against real libertarians, against real conservatives, against people that are truly anti-New World Order. It's as clear as the nose on my face or your face. I mean, you can see my nose right now if you're watching PrisonPlanet.tv. It's there. It's clear. It's like watching a duck swimming around in a pond and saying, is that a duck? Gee, I don't know. And he's shown himself again with this Deborah Medina thing, where she just said, that's not a state issue. I don't really get into that. People have a right to their opinion. Oh, my God, you're a 9/11 truther. And within 35 minutes, the robocalls from Rick Perry and Kay Bailey Hutchinson and the big neocon blogs were saying it's over from her. Because they know if the fake left attacks Deborah Medina, a true states' writer, a true nullification person over federal control, 10th Amendment, now called Tenthers by Newsweek, they know a left attack would only embolden her. So they got to have a phony right-wing attack, which is what Cass Sunstein talks about in the White House memos. And in all these white papers he's written, the regulations are, he says, we've got to pose as these anti-establishment people to get them infighting with each other. That's the only way we get credibility. And again, it's very complex, very sophisticated. I'm just giving you the basics here. And I noticed in the last 3 months, all these editorials, there were 5 of them in the last week and a half, a big one in National Review by Pipes, saying, Obama, launch a war against Iran or your candidacy is dead. Israel tells him that. His chief of staff, who's admittedly an Israeli army member, Rahm Emanuel, tells him that. Now, again, Obama's a puppet, but he doesn't want to commit political suicide. But they're saying, you do this or we're going to destroy you. We're going to allow an impeachment. We're going to remove you. But if you play ball, and Sarah Palin openly said this on Fox News a week and a half ago. We played the clip here. She said, if you play ball and play the war card and do what, declare war as I think you should, you can pull the clip up. We played it here. Then you're going to win in 2012. And I'm basically not going to run against you. And then I heard Glenn Beck start beating the drum 3 weeks ago that 9/11 truthers are revolutionaries, and they're figuring out that Obama's going to continue the torture and the wars and the secret arrest, and so they're going to kill Obama. And I don't really even watch his show. I can't stand it. But this morning, I watched a clip that's up on PrisonPlanet.com and a story titled, A Message to Glenn Beck, What are the Dangers of the 9/11 Truthers? Excellent article by Joe Robertson. And it was a repeat of what Glenn Beck said that I heard on the radio, but even worse. And he said, I fear for Obama because the left, the 9/11 truthers, which aren't the left, it's just the American people. So, again, he makes it a left-right paradigm. And he has this left-right paradigm up on the screen of the left and the right. He says he's against the left-right paradigm, but every graphic he shows, every chalkboard illustration at a third-grade level for his audience, he shows it, and he says, everybody's on the left over here that thinks 9/11 was an inside job, when it's not a left-right issue. They're scared of populists finding out about this. They're scared of it not being seen as conservative if you're pro-war. They're losing control. 9/11 truth is even bigger than it ever was. I mean, this morning on 590 AM, caller after caller calling in about Building 7, they weren't even discussing it. There's been a total loss of credibility by government across the board, whether it's Obama or George Bush or Sarah Palin or Rick Perry. And so from all the clear evidence I've seen, and Tarpley said this a few months ago, I now agree with him, but I've got more to add When we come back after the break, I'm going to really lay out what their current operation is and what their future plans are. Okay, so I've begun to get into Glenn Beck. I have started breaking down a lot of the things he's done. But studying false flag terror, studying how the globalists operate, studying things that they have done in the past, studying how they have operated in the past, you get a very clear picture of their psychological makeup, of their modus operandi. If they're one thing, they're pathological. They do the same thing in different variants over and over again. They're going to have trouble staging another domestic terror attack or another staged bio attack like the flu. They're going to have trouble launching a new war after they got caught lying about Iraq with the supposed WMDs. They've been caught lying about Iran with supposed WMDs. And so how are they going to launch their criminal agenda? What are some of the things from studying these people that we know they're going to do? Many people from the day Barack Obama was elected, well, really even before, marveled at the fact that we had our supposed first black president. He's actually less than 10% African. He's mainly Anglo and Arab. But we have our first Arab president, whatever. And so when we come back, I'm going to systematically break this down and talk about what clearly is the next false flag move for the globalists, for the New World Order. So that's coming up after the 70-second break as we reach the halfway point in transmission. Open phones coming up. I'm going to get into all the Newsweek hit pieces on myself and others and break those down. Glenn Beck's treacherous attack on Deborah Medina and a lot more on the financial front with open talk of the euro completely collapsing, which we, of course, predicted years ago. That is coming up, ladies and gentlemen. All right, on the subject of Glenn Beck, he's only a player in this larger theatrical shenanigan. I have seen Sarah Palin, I have seen Pipes, I've seen all these top neocons in editorials and on television in the last few months. You've all seen it as well. We played the clips here. Say, attack Iran or your presidency is over. And we know that, again, Obama is a puppet, but he doesn't want to politically destroy himself as well. So they've got all the dirt and all the Larry Sinclair stuff they can bring out, whether it's true or not, to ruin him. They've got all the other reports of drug use. They've got the truther thing that's been promoted. They've got all these ways, whether true or not, they can bring down Obama whenever they want. He's outlived his usefulness. He's 1 year and a month into his administration, and he is politically crashing and burning with the lowest approval rating of any president 13 months into their administration. And the line on the graph goes straight down. From the heights of 80+% down to 40% and dropping fast. How do the globalists grab victory out of the jaws of defeat? Well, we know their MO. And I have to give credit where credit is due. Of all these hundreds of different points I have that bring me to this conclusion, Tarpley a few months ago, when the gate crashers, who've now taken the Fifth Amendment in congressional testimony, everything is about security, how Obama's not safe. When he was running for president in Dallas, there was no security there. Oh, my God, there are people down the street wearing firearms. Oh, we've got to restrict the Second Amendment. What are we going to do? Somebody's going to go after Obama. And now I see video of Glenn Beck and other neocons in the last month over and over again saying 9/11 truthers and anti-warers are going to assassinate Obama in the White House. Well, wait a minute. If Obama's so pro-war and so pro-police state and Northcom. Why are you guys attacking him? Well, you're there to support him. When Glenn Beck comes out, who's discredited with the controlled left, and attacks Obama, that then gives him support. Remember, a year ago, we got internal White House memos where they said we're going to run against Rush Limbaugh. He's discredited. He's a drug addict. He's got all these problems. We will play up the fact that everything is Rush Limbaugh and try to get the left to now support war, support torture, support big government, support banker bailouts, because the alternative is Rush Limbaugh and the Republicans. Well, more and more now, because they're not sure if he's going to stay employed or stay sober or he's got heart problems, whatever the case may be, that the replacement for Limbaugh and the two